Could I love you any more?
I have the honor of kicking off 70 homilies over 70 days leading up to the 70th birthday of the one and only Father Gary Brown.
Congratulations, Father Gary.
Congratulations.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. We wish you all the best.
Happy birthday, Gary. Happy 70th. Love you, man. Take care.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday.
Happy 70th, Gary.
Have a wonderful birthday. Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, dear friend. And many, many, may you have many, many more.
Thank you, Father Gary, for being the resurrection breath for so many of us. We love you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. We love you.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Very, very happy birthday to you, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday. Happy 70th birthday, dear friend.
Happy birthday.
Happy 70th birthday. We love you.
We love you.
We love you. Cheers to you.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Very happy birthday to you, Father Gary.
And we wish you the happiest of birthdays.
Happy birthday.
We love you.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy
Happy 70th.
Happy 70th, Chief.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday.
Thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you and have a great birthday.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday to Father Gary.
So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, we celebrate. Yay.
We love you, Papa Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Father
Father
Gary.
Gary.
Enjoy.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
We love you so much, Gary, but more importantly is our giving you the gift of loving us.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
So happiest of birthdays, Gary. And as always, thank you.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. We're so grateful for all that you do for our community.
Love you, man. Best of luck. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Ciao.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. Could we love you?
Love you anymore.
We love you and we wish you all of your wishes.
Happy birthday, my buddy. We love you.
Love you. Mwah.
Gary, we love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Love you. Have a great birthday.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
We love you.
Happy birthday, Gary. We love you.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. You mean a lot to us and we want you to always remember that.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
The happiest of birthdays to you, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary. We love you.
Happy birthday, Father Gary. We love you.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Many, many more years for you. Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy
Happy birthday,
Gary Brown.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Father Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary. You don't look a day over 29.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I want you to know that counts for my funeral. Faces. Faces over there, faces right here, faces at home. One face after another, great faces. Watching that and watching just even a few of the message many have sent that they included in their choice of homilies in the countdown to 70. And you who are watching from home today in a special way, I miss your faces. Watching that video, I just get the sense of how powerful it is to see one another's faces, to get FaceTime, to face one another, to face off, to look, no, not look, but to behold another human face. What is a face? What did and what does it mean? The trick with faces is that they suggest connectivity. Faces look at us, and we look at faces. Often enough, we think of the face as our identity, the identity of another recognized in their face. And as such, faces occupy our minds. The faces we wear reveal and conceal who we are underneath. Sometimes so easy to read, others impossible to get at the secrets they hide. I can usually tell how a couple is doing by whether or not they turn their face towards each other when they talk to each other or listen to one another. And even though hurt and struggling some on any given day, that they can still look at each other. To turn our face away, to avert our eyes, is the cruelest thing. I don't always remember your names. I don't always remember the details of the story of your life, where you're from, what year you're in. And I know you get very annoyed when I keep thinking you're a senior, even as a freshman. But I can say, even though the details elude me, I don't forget a face. And most especially, I don't forget a great face. Times when I can't sleep at night, I don't count sheep. I see faces. The faces of friends, the faces of my family, the faces of our students, and our benefactors who give so much for us to accomplish our mission. And the faces that were in my line of sight just that day. Even the faces of enemies. After each year's gala, I go to bed with images of one face after another in front of me or across the room from me. 400 faces on some years, and each face has many faces. I think of the face of my dad and my mom holding this little baby Gary in their hands, relieved that I could come into this world after my mom had lost her first child, and it cost her one of her fallopian tubes, which made the possibilities of pregnancy even more remote. And then, after all that, things come to term, and then I come out backwards with a cord around my neck. I can only imagine their faces looking into my little bitty face, still a face that was still so unconscious and oblivious, and yet somehow, before even consciousness, somehow soaking up every second of every time they turn their face to me with so much desire for my very existence and so much love. And now that I've lived 70 years, that's a lot of faces. But I have to say that I love faces. I love the sagging faces of my fellow 70-year-olds with a few extra chins maybe now underneath and crow's feet in the corner of our eyes that say, we smiled a lot. I like the furrowed brow that tells me of the intensity of a person's life. And I like young faces too, the smooth cheeks and the wrinkleless foreheads that will someday extend back further for most of you. One student, I'll never forget this, one student said to me once when we were sitting over lunch, looking right at me, my biggest fear is that someday I will be bald. Looking right at me. Some people spend a lot of time and a lot of money on their faces. A lady that I loved left in the directives of her will clear instructions to the mortician on how she wants him to do her makeup in her casket, the names of the makeups to be used, and the exact order of application. And that's fine, I guess, if not too crazy expensive or for the wrong reasons. It's fine to do what we can with what we got. It's fine to do what we can with what we got to make the world more beautiful, but always and only for others' sake, never for our sake. Truth is, we all need a facelift. I don't care how old we are. We all need a facelift if it's from a frown to a smile, from judgment to compassion. That's the facelift we need. A person's face with nature's own hand painted. Those are the words of Shakespeare. A person's face with nature's own hand painted. The human face is just so beautiful. Friday night was the actual night of my 70th, and I and 4 other friends, whose friendships reach back nearly 50 years now, always gather around our birthdays. But that night, moving towards this theme in my life, seeing the messages people were leaving for me, that night, I spent a little time when they weren't even aware of it, just looking at their faces, the faces of these dear, dear friends. And I studied their faces. I memorized their faces. I savored their faces for the time we don't have left to look into those eyes, to feel that expression, to notice the tears in the corners of the eyes, squished in laughter. The way those faces light up when we see each other again, even after just a few weeks sometimes, and after almost 50 years, the way we light up when we see each other. These are faces, and we all have faces like this already in our lives. These are faces that had an impact, a life-changing impact. It's what we first see about a person, it's their face. And forever, that face is associated for us with many things, but most especially with impact. A certain generosity, an opened opportunity, a kindness, and a seeing of me before I even wanted to be seen. A face that appeared just when I needed it. Many of the members of our community were rifling through 30 years of homilies I preached here, beginning with little cassette tapes. And many sponsored them to help us do our work here, to do for you what we are doing for you all the time, I hope, and to honor me. I cannot thank them enough for that. But one of my favorite homilies I ever preached goes way back when I talked to this community about what an old mentor had taught me about a face. He called it the most beautiful face. He said it's the face of someone who has nothing to hide and nothing to lose and nothing to prove. My friends, if over our years we look at people with the face of someone who has nothing to hide and nothing to lose and nothing to prove, that face will be the transfigured face for us. But there is one other face. Looming over all of them is one other face. It's the face of Jesus of Nazareth. A face that was sometimes streaked with tears, other times spread wide with smiles and laughter. A face that did not turn away from others' suffering faces. A face that showed up just in time, right here in the gospel you heard tonight, just in time. When Peter told Jesus that his mother-in-law was sick, Jesus asked if he could go to her. He did not wait for her to ask for his help. He went to her bed where she was ridden by fever. He went to her. No doubt in my mind, when she saw that great face across from her, that something deep inside of her relaxed, and something deep inside of her was unleashed in that very moment that could heal still her body, unleashed by that great face looking at her, who made the trek, even without her invitation, to see her. There's not a priest in the world that could not tell you of the times he was called to the bedside of someone whose body was already in the dying process, oftentimes agitated, mostly unconscious, maybe even in a coma. And the priest walks in, and if they can, they barely open their eyes to see. And my, how they try to open their eyes to see that face. There are no words for that moment. I know they're not looking for my face right then. They're looking for another face underneath. That moment of recognition of more than the face right in front of them. A face has so many faces. How easy it can be to look at someone's face and behold the reality beneath. What she saw in his face, what those who were his students, his disciples, apostles saw in his face in those moments of pure compassion, the reality of just beneath. What they saw just beneath his face was the face of God. They spent the rest of their lives trying to tell the world what they saw just beneath his face. I say more, Gerard Manley Hopkins, a priest, wrote in one of his poems. I say more. The just man justices, keeps grace. That keeps all his goings grace. Acts in God's eye what in God's eye he is, Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes not his, to the Father through the features of men's faces. Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs, lovely in eyes, not his. My friends, look at the faces in your life again. Take an extra breath just to hold those faces with your own eyes, just for a breath. Even if that face is masked now, the eyes are plenty of face. Someday that face will pass from us, and we will only have the memory of what we saw there, what was touched, what we kissed. And in that memory, we will remember them. And far from just missing that face pressed against ours, we will want to go out there and love more deeply than we ever knew we could, because of the Christ whose face we saw in theirs. Can I just say, you all have great faces.